Thanks for checking out the video. Welcome to Greg Plays Games. Today we are going over 10 ideas that I think could really improve Animal Crossing for its second year. We really haven't seen or heard a whole lot of what we can expect from the game this upcoming second year. I think that E3 is really going to be kind of our turning point for the game as far as if they're going to continue to support this game. I think they will. I don't think that they will, give us too much all at once because they're going to drip feed us, kind of like they did with the first year, but I think that they're aware enough of the fan base to know that they want something significant. So the first thing on my list is actually a group of things, and it is quality of life improvements. These aren't necessarily like anything crazy, but just the idea of bulk crafting and how that's not in the game already blows my mind, and that's something that fans have been wanting for a while. Another idea for quality of life is just to streamline the menus for some of the NPCs that you interact with, like Flick, CJ, Sahara. You have to click through so many menus just to buy a rug or sell a fish, and I don't think that is something that will get changed. I could maybe see some of these ideas, but I really don't see that one changing. Merely a pipe dream. The next quality of life would be faster terraforming. You just terraform at a snail's pace in this game. You can only knock down one block at a time or dig one little hole at a time for building rivers, and I think terraforming was a step in the right direction for the series, and just kind of a natural progression from what it was before. But they definitely could have executed in a better way. I mean, Animal Crossing is a slow-paced game, but the terraforming, it just takes so long. Then my last idea for quality of life is to have just an item preview in your inventory. Even in videos, I've just struggled to find the right color item to drop down if you have multiple versions of the same item. Just giving you a little glimpse, like how if you're in your inventory in your house, you can see your item. Just something so that you can distinguish those. So those are all my quality of life improvement ideas. My second idea would be more collaborations. I thought that the Sanrio items were really neat. It kind of sucked that you had to pay for them, but it is what it is. There was also the Mario items, and those items really introduced some really cool things like the warp pipe, and to have more items like that from not only other Nintendo IPs, but just other surprises would be really cool. I think obviously Zelda is the next logical one. I think we will see something at E3. But one that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about is Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong is also celebrating an anniversary this year along with Zelda, and I think it's just as likely that we get Donkey Kong items. There's no reason to think that we wouldn't. If, we're applying the same logic to why we get Zelda items, I feel like we should apply that same logic to Donkey Kong items. I think that would be really cool, and I think there would be some really neat ideas like Diddy Kong's cap or Donkey Kong's tie, perhaps. Just like crate of bananas. Nintendo could do some cool stuff with that. I'd probably be more excited about Zelda, but I think it's just as likely as we see Donkey Kong. And you know what? Even furthermore, Metroid. I know Metroid is also having an anniversary too. They probably wouldn't give it to us all at once, but I think we see one of those things at E3. Either Zelda or Donkey Kong. Metroid, I think the most unlikely. Zelda probably being the most likely since it's one of their bigger IPs. My third idea is to have more seasonal clothes, more KK slider songs, more bugs, more fish, just more of the everyday things that we do on Animal Crossing. Going to the store, at this point you see a lot of the same clothes. How incredible is that timing, actually looking through these clothes? I didn't plan that. But after a certain point you see the same shit in the store. You hear the same KK slider songs. The KK slider songs I could do without, but if you're going to go and add more of all this other stuff, you might as well. More bugs and fish as well. I mean, I don't see them doing that, but I think it would be a cool idea just to have some, like, maybe a few extra rare fish, maybe something related to the anniversaries. Maybe you have a fish related to Breath of the Wild, or something along those lines. Fourth idea, definitely a pipe dream. Let us have a second island on the same Nintendo Switch. I don't get this one, because you can have multiple save files in pretty much every other video game ever created, but not this one, and I really just don't understand that. So that one's pretty straightforward. Number 5, a big one, and I do think that this one is in the realm of possibility, and that is a downtown shopping area. We've seen it in previous games. I think the previous 2 games in the Wii game, I can't remember the name of that one. I did not play that one, actually. But in the Wii game and in New Leaf, we had downtown districts. And I don't know why we don't have one in this game yet. I don't know if this one would happen. I could see it happening. It would be a huge change to the game. But in previous games, Kix had a store. Katrina, I believe, had a store. I could be wrong about that. I could be misremembering. But Harriet, I believe, is the hairdresser's name. Leaf, KK Slider was a DJ in a game. Maybe even Brewster has a little cafe. I think it's more likely that he's located in the museum shop. But it would be cool to have a little downtown district. Just somewhere else to visit other than Nook's Cranny and Able Sisters, which should also both get updates, and we should get an improved Nook's Cranny. Able Sisters never really had updates, if I remember correctly, but Nook's Cranny would upgrade like 3 or 4 times, and the fact that we are over a year into the game and they haven't addressed that, it blows my mind. I really don't understand why some of these things are missing from the game after a full year of its release, because I mean, at this point, you've lost a lot of the steam of the game in its initial player base, and it's really just hardcore fans left at this point, when I really think all of these things should have been available from day one. None of these concepts are really new. These are all things that were in previous games, other than like quality of life and some of this other stuff. But number 6 is to just have more daily activities, kind of related to the downtown shopping district. But, in previous games, it would let you work in the cafe and serve customers. I don't see why they wouldn't include this if we do get the Roost Cafe. But they also introduced this concept of farming pumpkins for around October. And they didn't do anything else with it. This makes no sense. So you just add these pumpkins to make some jack-o'-lanterns and use in some Thanksgiving recipes, and that's it? It makes no sense. So I do think that there is the potential for them to do something with this. Maybe, introduce farming as a job, or just introduce more crops as another way to make money, which I think isn't really what the game needs. I don't think the game necessarily needs more ways to make money, because there's so many, but just something additional and fun to do. And the fact that they just kind of left the farming as is, it is so confusing. Number 7 is just to go and just improve on their current ideas. I guess I kind of touched on that with farming already, as well as the quality of life adjustments, but I guess it just kind of relates more to the conversation we were having, where there's just so much missing from this game that was in previous games, and they're trying to package it as this new thing to do, when really the only real original concepts in this game are your DIYs, so you're crafting, the resource gathering to a degree, and terraforming, that kind of stuff, which, I mean, aren't really creative, new, innovative ideas. They're new to the series, but, I mean, these have been staples in series like Minecraft, even Farmville. I mean, I think this game is a better game than Farmville, but, I don't know. For this game to be out and to just fall short in so many ways after a full year is really disappointing. I think it's a great game, don't get me wrong. It was number 1 on my on my Nintendo Switch games list, but there's just so much room for improvement that it's disappointing to see that it hasn't had that yet. Number 8 is to improve villager interactions. Villagers in this game really lack personality. I'm not the first person to draw attention to this. If you've played the game, I'm sure you've noticed this as well, assuming that you've played previous games. But one of my favorite things was just run around, talk to villagers, do tasks for them. You don't really get that in this game. It's really not a huge aspect of the game, interacting with your villagers, which is a shame because it's such a core part of what this game is about. Number 9, streamline online play. Also, I cannot believe how clunky some of this stuff is. Having to go in, open your gates, give people a friend code, all this loopholes that you have to jump through. Just let me go, click on a friend, go visit their island. Just find a way to make that faster. It's always a process and a chore to go and visit someone's island or to have people come to your island. And last but not least is to just bring more activities to online play. There's really not much to do. You can just go and visit your friends, sell things in their store, buy things in their store, and that's it. You can only go and visit islands. You can't go to mystery islands together. You can't even really you can't do any of the core gameplay like terraforming or anything like that. I think it would be a really cool idea to maybe introduce like a community island, something that you could actively work on with some of your friends. Maybe, if they introduce the downtown district, you can go there and meet random people. That's something Nintendo's always been really bad about, is making it easy to just play with people online. You have to have someone's friend code, know someone, or they just always make it very difficult. And this is a game that's so heavily based around community, and even the CEO, Doug Bowser of Nintendo of America, said that they want to have this game kind of depend on user-generated content to create more gameplay opportunities. Yet they make it very difficult to play with friends. Well, that was my 10 ideas. Let me know what you guys think about my ideas. Is there any improvements you guys would like added to the game? Drop a comment. Leave a like if you've made it this far in the video. I would assume that you at least somewhat liked the video. Consider subscribing to the channel too if you like Nintendo games or Animal Crossing. Have a good one, y'all.